everyone, it's Jack from Cultaholic.com here on a Saturday. Me and Pachita are in the office, just boys working the weekend together. Made it sound really weird, and he's editing this video as well, so he's going to see this. We've got three big pieces of news to talk about today. We've got to talk about some sad releases actually. One person has definitely been released from WWE, although maybe not under the sort of circumstances, the sort of sinister circumstances that would apply. And then another person is rumoured to have been released because of a disappearance of their online profile. Secondly, we're going to talk about Vince McMahon, who is returning to Monday Night Raw this coming Monday. What could it be? WWE.com says it's to shake things up. And finally, we're going to talk about Brian Alvarez of Wrestling Observer Newsletter, who is reporting that WWE are planning to improve things, turn their ratings around in January, because apparently they've got a certain plan to do so. Let's crack on and take a look at all of the news. Now on to the sad news of that release. It's always a shame to report on releases. You never want to see anyone walk away from a job or lose their job in WWE, but in this instance it seems as though this superstar in particular actually wanted to go. At least that's what reports are saying. According to the Wrestling Observer Newsletter, Nick Miller has been released from the company, one half of the Mighty, the Australian tag team in NXT, formerly known as TM61, formerly known on the, I was going to say Indies, but in Japan mainly as the Mighty Don't Kneel. So it sounds like a shame, especially for both Miller and his tag partner as well, who's suddenly on his own in NXT. But once I go into the circumstances a little bit, maybe it'll make a little bit more sense. So according to the Observer, Miller recently returned home to Australia following the birth of his child, congratulations, and then decided that he'd rather stay home once he'd gone there. Apparently, this is what the story says, he talked to WWE and they were cool with that and they offered him his release and he took it, but apparently, yes, the door isn't closed if he wishes to return at some point in the future. So when I first saw this headline, I was like, oh no, what's happened? Why have they released him? What's he done? But now that I've read into it a little bit more, it seems to be a little bit of a happier story. It seems as though he's doing what he wants to do, and we can always commend somebody for that. However, there are also rumours floating around of another release, although that is yet to be confirmed or denied by anybody online. And that man in question is Tucker, who was, if you remember, the first UK Championship tournament. I think his biggest impression in WWE came when he had that wonderful match against Tyler Bate. I believe it was at the end of night one. It was a really good match. He lost it, but it helped him get over as a plucky underdog, smaller size, but really agile kind of babyface. Everyone really liked Tucker after that. He's from, I believe, Northern Ireland, although it may be the Republic of Ireland, so it might have caused a bit of an issue there. I'm going to say Northern Ireland. Yeah, he was a fantastic wrestler, but after that, he wasn't really used too much. And although there is no confirmation that he's been released, his profile has disappeared from WWE's website. So a lot of people are saying, oh, is this a sign that he's been released? And it's just that they've done that before officially announcing it. I'm not entirely certain, but we'll keep you up to date with that if any further news emerges. Secondly, Vince McMahon is returning to Monday Night Raw this Monday, the night after TLC, and according to WWE.com, as I said in the intro of this video, he's going to shake things up. I will put money on hearing Vince McMahon say the words, "You're fired," on Monday Night Raw. To who? Don't know. Baron Corbin. Yes, it's all not looking good for Baron Corbin, and I think the fact that Vince is going to appear on Monday Night Raw kind of may imply that he's going to lose to Braun Strowman at TLC, or lose in some fashion, because we still don't know whether Strowman's going to be cleared for that match. Of course, he took time off for surgery to sort out some bone spurs in his elbow, and it's unclear whether he's going to be fit for his match against Corbin. That's very much played into the storyline. Corbin is, of course, saying he's never going to make it, I'm going to win by forfeit, I'm going to be the permanent Raw general manager. But of course, if Corbin loses, then he's not GM anymore, and I'm assuming just goes back to being a regular member of the roster, a normal WWE superstar. That, if I was a predicting man, which I am, that's part of my job, I would suggest that Corbin's going to lose to Strowman, or lose in some capacity to a superstar taking Strowman's place. Many people have suggested Bray Wyatt, for example, and then on Raw, Vince will come out and tell him that he's fired. The other question then would be, who's going to be the new GM to fill in his position? Could it be Kurt Angle again, who was the GM before he was sent on holiday by Stephanie McMahon? Could it be Alexa Bliss, who is in charge of the women's division now? I don't know. We'll find out, I guess, on Monday, but it's interesting news for certain, and it should ensure a bit of a ratings jump for Monday Night Raw. Speaking of ratings, Brian Alvarez of the Wrestling Observer has come out and said that apparently WWE have a plan in place to turn things around in terms of TV ratings for Raw in January. Apparently they have a plan. He's emphasized that it's nothing big. He says this is going to spark all kinds of crazy rumors like, is it the Bucks? Is it Cody? He says don't get excited for anything like that. But WWE apparently have a plan to change things around and hopefully turn around this ratings slump for Monday Night Raw. I'm I'm not sure how effective this will be, or how effective it'll be perceived to have been, if that makes sense. I'll explain what I mean. Basically, January is the turning point for WWE in every calendar year. It's the start of the road to WrestleMania. Once the Rumble hits, you know that it's go time. We're on the way to WrestleMania, and that's obviously the big peak of the year. So even if they do implement some sort of plan that turns things around, how clearly will that be seen by us, the viewers, or will it just seem like everything's picking up because it's WrestleMania season once again? I don't know. Unless it's something like a huge roster switch or an NXT invasion angle or something crazy like that. I don't know how visible this change will actually be, but I guess we'll find out next year. Brian Alvarez's words have made me not that excited about it, but I'm certainly intrigued. I'm intrigued. So that's it for today's news. Thank you very much for watching. I've been Jack from Cultaholic.com. You can follow me on Twitter if you want to, at Jack the Jobber. You can follow all of us generally at Cultaholic. And check out our Patreon as well, patreon.com/Cultaholic. And never forget, of course, if you haven't done so already, to hit subscribe and to join us.